I've been a full-time content creator for 8 months now, and it has completely changed my life. And I wanted to do this video because I think it's going to give you nothing but hope and drive to chase your own content creation dreams based off seeing how much persistence and failure and effort that I've had to put in to get where I am today. So in this video, I'm going to talk about my journey through kind of 5 or 6 different niches and, every format. I'm going to then talk about how I knew it was the right decision to quit my job, what it's like actually being a full-time content creator, and what the future looks like for me, as a full-time content creator, and how I'm diversifying myself and building out more of a creator business. So it all started around 4.5 years ago for me. I was training for an Ironman and I decided to start an Instagram fitness account. This was pre-reels, incredibly hard to grow, kind of did around 100 to 120 photos and videos just on the feed. Didn't really grow that much, but I enjoyed the process of just putting myself out there, just getting started. I didn't know what was good, I didn't know what was bad at the time. I was just posting. I didn't really know what my friends would think of me. I was scared. I was thought that he just wants to be an influencer. But you know what? I tried to just kind of get over that very quickly and just, enjoy what I was doing and just think, I don't care. I then did the Ironman. It came just to a kind of a natural ending of me doing that content. I wasn't growing. I was kind of getting a little bit deflated and demotivated by no growth. So I moved towards YouTube. I then started doing more YouTube long form. Did around 15, 20 videos on personal development, note taking, this, that, and the other. My videos were awful. Absolutely awful. Again, found that really difficult to do. Didn't really know much. Didn't really have much time to do it. And I quit that as well. I did that for about 4 or 5 months. Then I joined Twitch. And at Twitch, I got inspired by streaming. I then started streaming Warzone, and I had success really quickly. I had a viral video on TikTok after about 3 weeks, and I couldn't believe it. It's the first time I'd had any virality, and I would not wish this on anybody because I could not handle it. My phone was absolutely blowing up for weeks on end, and then months. My Twitch was blowing up, and I thought I'd made it. I started making money, and I was like, wow, this is my first taste of money making content. I previously had never made content before for money. I was making content purely just to explore some creative desires within me that my job wasn't allowing me to do. And I think that's super important as a content creator. I think if you're doing it purely just for money, I think you'll struggle to sustain and motivate yourself for a long period of time when you don't make any money, because you need to be real with yourself. Like most creators, are not going to make good money for 2 or 3 years, because that's the amount of time it takes you to probably get to the level that you need to be at to start getting good growth and start getting brand deals and monetization opportunities. So make sure you've got your reasons straight for why you're creating content. Once that started to happen, I started to go all in, and I burnt out. I burnt out. I was working, streaming, creating content, and I was leaving myself no room to learn or improve either. I just thought that if I'm consistent, I keep showing up, I will be successful. And that was a very wrong approach and attitude to have. I should have focused a lot more on, how to get better at editing, how to be a better streamer. But all I wanted to do was go live, make a TikTok, on to the next day. And my strategy and approach was wrong there. The wave that kind of initially started for my virality died, and yeah, that hit me hard. I realized that this isn't working. I'm not going to be successful doing this way. However, kind of towards the back end of that, me streaming Warzone, got a little bit more interested in the actual growth of streaming, because as I was stopped growing, I started to try and learn how to grow more. I started streaming less because I was burning out, and I was like, actually, I quite like this. I then took 6 months off because I just was like, I'm done with content creation for a little bit. I'd been doing the streaming Warzone for about a year, so I had just got a bit fed up with just not getting what I wanted, Yeah, just like everybody, I was putting in lots of work, lots of effort, not getting the returns that, I was hoping for. And then I was like, okay, I took 6 months off and I reevaluated my approach. I now was looking at it, well, I enjoy content. I really like doing this, and I actually now think that I've realized I can make money from it. I didn't really, ever think about it like that. So let me have a bit more of a strategic approach with how I spend my time, because that's the key thing where most creators go wrong, and where I went wrong is I was spending my time on the wrong things. Too much time streaming, too much time doing this, that, and the other. And I sat back and I thought, what do I need to focus on in order to increase my growth and just increase my chances of success? And for me, that was just purely focusing on TikTok. Short form content, that's all I did. I stopped streaming altogether and I switched niches. I'd grown my TikTok account to over 100,000 Warzone. Sits on about 103,000 at the moment. I started completely again from zero. All my socials, created brand new accounts. That was a hard pill to swallow. That was a really hard pill to swallow. I was like, should I create a new account or should I keep the same account? I don't know. I said, you know what, Ben? Let's take all the skills that you learned from creating content, on Instagram, YouTube, and streaming. You know a lot now. It doesn't matter that you've switched niches, you've started again, because you're not starting from zero knowledge. You're just starting from zero follower account. That's fine. I started streaming education growth. That didn't really work. Nobody really knew who I was. Who are you? What are you doing this advice for? So I started a podcast instead. I was obviously still working at Twitch, and I thought, actually, why don't I start a podcast? I can use some of my streaming network to interview them, because if people don't believe me in terms of what I'm saying that you need to do for streaming growth, maybe they'll believe the people that are already growing, all right? Because this is where I'm learning most of the stuff anyway. I'm just, evaluating how other people are growing and then digesting that into short form content, but nobody was listening to me, which is fine. When you start creating, I think a lot of people get imposter syndrome when they start, because they think, well, why would anybody listen to me because I've not done anything? I think you just need to ignore that. You just need to, everybody has to start somewhere. You do know something, and there's always somebody that knows less than you that would be happy to learn from you, because you're a good personality fit for the type of content that they like to consume, in terms of you as an educator, let's say. And so as I was moving forward with this, I realized the podcast was taking me hours and hours and hours to do, and the short form content wasn't doing that well, and I started to again reevaluate how I was spending my time. And then around February, March, things changed for me. I had always been this creator that wanted to be super unique, wanted to stand out, wanted to come up with my own ideas in my head, and that wasn't working. And I saw a podcast from a guy called Brandon Kane, talks about having a more of a data-driven approach, that you could actually reverse engineer viral videos and figure out why they're going viral and then remake them into your own style. And often it's the idea and the topic that makes the video go viral more than the execution itself. And I kind of like this idea. I like science, I like maths, I like data, I like kind of all that. I started giving it a go. At this point, I was slowing down on my podcast. Again, I was slightly burning out again, doing too much. All my weekends were dedicated to creating a podcast. And then I started to have success. I basically looked up all of the top streaming educators on TikTok and saw what sort of topics and ideas were doing well for them. And essentially started to write them down in a spreadsheet and see, well, this topic works for this person, this person, and this person. This must be resonating with their audience of streamers, which is obviously the audience that I wanted to create content for. I started implementing some of these ideas, into my own style, trying to make them better, trying to put my own spin on it. And it started to work. It wasn't a coincidence. I had seen in the last 30 days, I had around 20 TikToks and around 2 go over 10k views, and then in the next 30 days I had 20 TikToks or so, and 10 of them had gone above 10k. There was results there that were going, wow, this is working, I'm going to continue to do it. And I hit the AI tool content creation boom as I hit that as it started to boom, and I was ready to create that sort of content. I'd also identified that in the streaming education niche, it was actually really undersaturated. There aren't that many people that create streaming education content. They're mainly on YouTube, so it was actually a really undersaturated market. I'd known that. I'd known that I could offer something different, and so I went at it. I then started expanding out my niche into sort of editing, because I knew streamers had to know how to edit, because I'd been a streamer, and so they'll want to know how to edit, and they'll probably be willing to consume my content on Premiere Pro, because that's just generally what most streamers used at the time. And that started to work as well. And, you know, all throughout this time, I'd never really knew what niche I was in, or, you know, what the niche would be in the future. I was just kind of starting to just experiment more because I wasn't seeing growth. And then I started to see growth, and then I just started expanding out my niche. Then started doing more creator resources, creator websites, also started seeing success, and also started to realize that this niche as well is undersaturated. People that just create videos about like tools and websites and asset packs, and that's super undersaturated. I got right place, right time, and that's just what you need sometimes. You need right place, right time. You need momentum. Sometimes your content's good, you just haven't found the right place, right time. And then, you know, I then started to get emails from brands. This is when I started to like make money. And this was like different than when I'd make money as a streamer, because that money was all kind of donations, was all like done on stream, you know, and very, very different. This was now like money from brands. Brands offering like $500 for me to make a TikTok video. And I thought that was wild. I was like, holy shit. $500 just for a video. Take me one evening. Yes, please. Start doing that. Next month, you know, started to get more brand deals. This is when I was about 50,000 followers on TikTok. Again, not that big, because niche was undersaturated. You know, I stood out still. And then the numbers started to go up. 500 turned to 1,000. 1,000 turned to 1,500. 1,500 turned to 2,000. 2 or 3 months later, I'm earning triple my salary. And I'm thinking, whoa. I probably need to think about, this is reality now. I'm potentially going to have the opportunity to quit my job. How do I know when the right time is? In my head, the right time was I was going to wait for 5-6 months of continued progression in terms of my inbounds and also, you know, my revenue. As long as I'm getting, you know, if this month I get 10 inbounds and next month I get 15, next month I get 20, I could see that, you know, there's a linear, you know, trend going up, that I'm getting more inbounds as I'm growing, and that's a positive sign. And also the cost, the amount that I was charging was also going up as well. And I wanted to just get to a point where I would have 20 to 25 grand in my bank account as like emergency income, like that would last me around 6 months or so. And I got to that point a lot quicker than I did. Things started to escalate, and then I spoke to my parents and was like, I'm going to quit. I was going to quit in December. I ended up quitting in like September. And I was like, I can't handle this anymore. I was working like all day, every day, like would like wake up, go to work, get back, would be editing from 7 till 9. At this point, I was now streaming as well, making brand deals till 3 in the morning. You know, this was real grind here, real grind, like working silly hours, just hustling, just never taking time off, because I knew that like I was nearly there. Like I said, I quit my job and got to the point where, you know, it had become a reality now. It had become a reality. For 4.5 years, I had been on and off chasing my dreams, you know, and I did a few other niches in between those other ones I didn't even mention, because I just was like, didn't even do them for that long, and never knew whether I would make it or not, and eventually made it. And the feeling that I had in the first month that I was self-employed full-time was just incredible. I made another video about this in my journey. I cried because I was crying so much in the first month, because I'd never felt a feeling like it before. I'd never felt a feeling where I just felt free. I could do whatever I want whenever I want. I could wake up when I wanted. I could go out to lunch and go out to breakfast and just do anything and have nobody above me to tell me like why I couldn't. And at this point, I'm easily making, you know, around 7 to 10 grand a month. You know, I'm not making chump change either. You know, I'm living very comfortably, and there's no stress or pressure on myself. I'm doing 3 TikToks a week. That's it. It's all I'm doing. You know, and I'm like, wow, this is what life should feel like. This is what life should feel like. Incredible sense of freedom. And, you know, over the last 8 months, I have to just pinch myself and remind myself how incredible this is to be a full-time content creator. Like, as long as you build it right, and as long as you just don't commit, and I didn't quit my job to then go into another stressful full-time job. I quit my job to give me the freedom of time to do whatever I want, and part of that is making videos, which I thoroughly enjoy. I love what I do, and part of that is just enjoying myself. And so, I still get stressed. I still people ask me, like, do you feel stress and pressure on being a full-time creator, being self-employed? And I do sometimes, but usually not financially at all. I'm very comfortable there. It's more so just like wanting to just do the best I can with my videos, wanting my videos to perform now, because performance of my videos is now kind of somewhat directly correlated with my revenue. And so that gets me stressed unnecessarily. And so I've now got to the point where I'm asking myself, what's next? What's next for me as a content creator? I don't just want to do brand deals all the time. I want to start building more of a creator business, diversifying my revenue streams. I'm not too bothered about earning a lot more money. I just want to make kind of more money in different areas, so that I have got that diversification, I have got that security, and I am just exploring different things, and I'm just learning and improving. And so for me, that looks like probably building out some mini courses, building out some stuff around how I come up with ideas, because I think that's one of my strongest things when it comes to my content, is that I'm pretty good at churning out ideas. So I'm going to package that into like an SOP, like long old document to sell. Got some want to do more consulting, B2B stuff. But at the same time, I'm just taking every day as it comes. I'm trying to. It can be a bit lonely as a content creator as well. I've joined a workspace just to get me out of the house, because I don't see my colleagues anymore. I don't go out that much and drink. I have joined a few other communities as well, that, running club and just some networking stuff. I try as much as I can to go to events and stuff. That's like my social aspect of being a creator, because, I don't, see people a lot, but I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I'm happy working. I'm happy chugging away. I'm happy making this YouTube video. YouTube is something that I definitely want to do more of, because of the diversification factor. I know that there's a big ceiling here. I know that there's a place for my content, and so I'm happy that I'm sat here filming this, and I think I'm getting tingles in me again here. There's so much opportunity for me in front of me. I'm not somebody that doesn't know what big opportunities are. When I sniff them out and when I find them, I take them. I've done that for my whole life. I'm relatively hungry all the time, and I just think that I'm at the early stages of potentially massive success in what I do. It's just how much do I want to push myself to get there? I don't know yet. I don't know. I always questioned myself when I was in corporate, if I ever got to middle management, would I want to go higher than middle management? Because, more higher than middle management, means more money, but means more responsibility, more stress. And it's the same way that I now look at my creator business, How much do I want to go? How much do I want to push it? Do I want to build a big team? Do I want to build a big business? Because ultimately that's going to be pretty hands-on and pretty stressful, and yeah, it might make me more money, but if it takes away the time and freedom that I was chasing, well then am I going to be any happier than I am now just because I built something bigger and make more money? I don't know. That's the question I've got in my head that I'm not sure of the answer to, and I'll only find that out until I do it. But in my head, I'm really patient. I've been patient for a long time, and I'm really keen to build slow, to make the right decisions, to not go head first and build so quickly that I land myself in just an absolute minefield of just work and pressure and stress that I absolutely hate it. This is not why I wanted to be a full-time content creator. There's lots to think about for me. Lots to think about, As I said, I want to do more on YouTube. My TikTok and Instagram are still in maintenance phase, just, keeping them chugging along. I want to start an email newsletter. I want to obviously launch some courses in that, maybe offer some one-to-one stuff, consulting, events, workshops, lots to think about here. But I'm excited about the future for me. I've as I said, I've chased my dreams for so long to be a full-time creator, and it's fucking incredible. I can't describe to you how it feels to just be a full-time content creator that's relatively comfortable. It's the best feeling in the world, in my opinion. It's the best feeling in the world, and I encourage anybody and everybody who is chasing to be a full-time content creator to just keep going. It might take you a year, it might take you 3 years, it might take you 5 years, but you just got to be somebody that just keeps on chugging along. You can give up and you can just stay in your corporate job and be unhappy forever, or you can just see it out for 3 to 5 years and you'll make it a success. 3 to 5 years is nothing. You just need to convince yourself that you need to just keep going and keep pushing through, even though when it's hard and you don't want to do it, it will be worth it in the end. I promise you. I absolutely promise you. So please keep trying. Please keep trying. Please keep going. I'm going to keep continuing to share my thoughts and insights as a creator, and hopefully give some more advice on more of the psychological and mindset things behind pushing through those barriers. But hopefully this was useful. I hope it was valuable. Have a nice weekend, and I'll see you in the next video.